Hello, beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is, and what a beautiful day, and what a beautiful breeze too. And I don't know about you, I love this time of year because right now it's got that fall look. So, and coming from New York, I do love colorful trees and leaves and all that stuff. So this is a fun time. Well, at least getting out in nature. Is also right now, normally at this time, is more people start getting out in nature like around this time because it's cooler, depending on where you are. And people love the beauty of leaves changing colors and stuff like that. Now back here you can see all green. There's really nothing too colorful, but the leaves are falling down. So anyway, I hope you're getting out in nature like Starlight is. Sorry, Starlight's got an itchy nose. And also, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find Starlight on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you can give my videos a thumbs up, and you can leave me a message down below, beep, beep, beep. Plus, you could share my videos with your family or friends. I can't take this picture, but there's a grasshopper right on my phone that's been hanging out with Starlight, like he just wants to watch what Starlight's doing today. So yes, you could share my videos with a beautiful green grasshopper. And I have ladybugs out here. So what does it mean when you see a ladybug or a grasshopper? Well, you'll have to find that out. And also, you could check out my playlist. Plus, if you want to send any little pets, or maybe you even have a picture of any kind of animal. It doesn't even have to be your pets. And I hope this grasshopper's on the front of my screen right now, so don't mind Starlight. It's too funny. It's like it's on my arm, but it's on my screen. So if you have any pets, or not your husband or wife or kids, but if you have any pictures of any animals, and if you'd like to share those on my YouTube channel, I would love to see what you have. And you could do that by sending that on my Instagram page. And also, if anybody wants to contact me on my Instagram page, you can, and that is at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, I am so sorry. I have a lot of friends out here. I have a bee that I thought was going to land on me. But, so yes, you could do that on my Instagram or Facebook. And I want to say a big, huge thank you to all of you who have been here loving and supporting Starlight. Those of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, or maybe you just watch my videos, or maybe you're that person out there that leaves me a message or share my videos. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all of you. And now today, I know you're probably wondering, why am I making a video on this topic now? Well, I do normally every year make a video on this topic, but the problem is normally I make it too late. By the time I make the video, it's too late. So I am ahead. This time I'm ahead. This is how the Matrix is, you know, that like Halloween time, you know, for October, you know, I'm not even sure these days. It might even be worse, you know, long time ago. But, you know, when you go to the store, they could have Halloween stuff in July for all I know, or, you know, or even August. So they get ahead because they want your money, you know, they want you to buy, you know. So all the holidays they already have. Don't mind Starlight if you see her freak out here, because this grasshopper's been on my phone and I'm just waiting for it to, you know, jump on me. But so never know what's going to happen during this video. So anyway, with the holidays, you know, they put stuff out months ahead. And when I used to be in my apartment, I was that one person out there running around on before the holidays, because I wanted the best deals, you know, for all those holidays, because I was making arts and crafts for all the holidays, and it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun creating stuff all the time. And so I would go out and go to the Dollar Tree mainly, or mainly that was my place, is the Dollar Tree or other stores, and get stuff. So the reason I'm making this video is because before you know it, you know, right now it's October, you know, this is my brother's birthday day. If he was still here, I thought it was yesterday, but today is October 2nd, so my heart, I love my brother, so I just wanted to mention that as the one that passed away. This was his birthday day. And but we're in October right now, and you know, before you know it, then we're, you know, Halloween is going to be here at the end of the month. And Starlight would love to dress up. I do love that kind of stuff, but I have not done that because of my situation here. And then we're going to have November. That was my greatest holiday, because to me, you know, it was about being thankful about things and family time, you know, and it wasn't about gifts, you know, and it was not like a big headache for me as far as like getting together, you know, for Thanksgiving. You know, it was a time to be happy and, you know, get together with loved ones and cook and eat, you know, like, so that was my favorite holiday out of all holidays. So that holiday doesn't bother me so much, but really the one that really bothers me the most would have to be Christmas. You know, so the reason I'm making this is because some of you already did Christmas last year, you know, after Christmas, you know. There are people out there, they get done with Christmas, you know, and when they then all the stuff goes, like, who knows, maybe 75% off on the stuff that they can't sell anymore. Then they run out to the stores like a Black Friday, and they're buying stuff way ahead of time to save money for Christmas before it even gets here. So I really can't help any of those people if they already bought everything in the stores, you know, just kidding. But I'm here to help you. Is like, everybody celebrates Christmas for a different reason, and it's about being real and being honest. This is what my YouTube channel is about, is being real and being honest, and being truthful, like, to your kids and your, you know, your loved ones. Like, I do know people that they know there's no Santa Claus, but I'm blown away. I didn't even know this, and till like last year, I was talking to somebody, and it was a big, huge problem. It ended up being a big, huge problem because of the holidays, and they were really spoiled. Really, they were a spoiled child. They did not lack. They did not know what it was like to lack. They always had. They had lots growing up. They had lots of food growing up. They had, you know, a lot of money growing up. And you know what happens sometimes with kids when they get too much? They don't even appreciate anything they got. You know, and then you could have somebody like myself that came from a family that didn't have, and where, you know, I never really chased the dollar bill like a lot of people do, but there's people that have come from backgrounds like I have, where, you know, you came from a family that was poor, you had to go on welfare, you had to, you know, go at yard sales instead of a regular store, you know, and get brand new clothes, you know. And then there's people that were way worse off than Starlight was. They didn't even have, you know, very much of that because they're, you know, the income. So it does ruin a lot of kids when you give too much to your kids, and then later on, they know that, you know, they found out there was no Santa Claus, and now they're actually adults, and now they have kids of their own, and now, you know, they're doing the same thing with their children. Just like what happened to them, is they're lying about the holidays to their kids. You know, they're telling them that there's a Santa Claus, and then they go out and they get a tree, and then they, you know, go out and, you know, and it is crazy. It really is. You know, my kids did not get a lot for Christmas because I was a single mom, trying to And here Starlight was trying to buy for all the other family members. I had all to do to just buy for my own 2 kids, you know. So there's many times I didn't even have money for my kids. So, and that is very hard, being a parent. And all these stores out here, they want you to keep on lying to your children. All these stores out here, you know, they get excited for this time, you know, coming up soon is, you know, getting, you know, like, I think like even before Halloween ends, they already, you know, they're already gonna, Christmas stuff might be already in the store right now, you know. You know, I don't even know when Christmas stuff comes in on the stores, you know. Like I said, I used to go in the Dollar Tree and I was like, well, look at this. I got all this stuff ahead of time for the holidays, you know, because later on they might not have those things in the store anymore, you know, because Starlight bought it all. But so it's so important to think ahead of time. Are you really gonna, if you're a parent or even a grandparent, are you gonna, you know, go out and buy gifts for your kids and lie to them about a Santa Claus that does not exist? You know, and like I was saying about the story about this family, where now this daughter is she has her own kids, 2 kids, and her dad wasn't, you know, he had to break up the money, and I mean, like, I couldn't believe how much she was getting, you know, for Christmas as an adult. I'm like, because see, what happens is when parents start out, now if you're a new parent, you might not know this, so you're going to do whatever you want to do. I can't control any of that. I only can put a message out here and say, please, you know, let's not keep lying to the children. There's nothing wrong with, there's people that do this, that they tell their kids that, you know, Santa Claus is, you know, fake. And yeah, there might have been somebody that went out and did that, but, you know, to really lie to your children about stuff is, when you start out, parents do this a lot by accident, not even thinking about it. They want to have a tree and then they want tons of presents underneath. Well, in the beginning, you know, the babies don't know anything about that, you know, even when they're toddlers, even when they're at certain ages. But when they hit a certain age, guess what? Every year the kids want more. You know, when they start understanding the value of money and how much something costs, now it's no longer about the gift. It's like, how much did that cost? You know, how much, you know, they spent like about this much on me this year, next year. Imagine that, you know, your children get, we'll say like you spent like $200 of gifts, you know, clothes or whatever. And then what if something happened, like a, you know, a pandemic, or the robots took over, you know, and you lost your job, you don't have the money that you normally would have. I knew, he was like, there he went. So, is now this year, you know, you don't have all that money, because like every year, if the child expects more and more and more, like I was saying, this story about this family that I know is like, you know, $300? You that's their gift, is here you go, $300. Well, how did it get that high? Like $300? And there's no Santa Claus, and she knows that it came from her dad? You know, isn't that a lot of money? You know? And then to complain about it. Complain, oh, that's all I'm getting? $300? You know? So, you know, what are people doing with the children? You know, is you're going to do what you want to do, but really think ahead of time of really, why are you celebrating Christmas in the first place? You know, and all these stores, they don't want the truth to get out and for the families to know. And radio stations, TVs, they're all a part of the lie. Restaurants are a part of the lie. A lot of places, they'll have advertisements on the radio or on the TV somewhere, and telling people, you know, lying to your kids about Santa Claus. Hey, you know, were you a good boy or a good girl? Is Santa Claus coming to your house? You know, because they want you to spend that money. You know, I can't believe that we're still doing this. Just like we do this every year. We repeat the same shit all the time, over and over again. You know, even when people lose their lives you know, at least people that, you know, like horrible stuff that happened and it affected a lot of people, you know, every year they got to bring it back up. They got to bring it back up, you know, and then after a while it might fade away, you know, but that's what they do, is that they keep on repeating the same stuff, you know, because now there's new babies coming up. That's why they don't want to get rid of the Santa Claus and stuff. That's why, you know, all these companies, they know it's a big money making thing that is going on, and they don't care about your kids being lied to, you know. So Starlight is about Jesus, you know. That's when around the time when Jesus was born. That might not be the exact day, because there's people say no, it's not on, you know, December 25th, you know, and other people might have art, and it doesn't really matter. Boy, there's that grasshopper. I'm waiting. That grasshopper is gonna, you know, jump right on Starlight. I almost can feel it. So don't mind Starlight. This grasshopper's been my friend for a while out here. So I'm sorry, I got the laughing gas here. So you got to think ahead of time. Do you want to be a part of the problem or the solution? A part of the problem is to keep on helping all these stores by buying more stuff. Now, I have no problem with people when they see a good deal, and you know, maybe after I don't do Black Friday, but I'm just saying, like, you know what Starlight wanted to do when her kids were little? I wanted to be opposite of most people, is, hey, you know what? We're not going to celebrate Christmas when everybody else celebrates Christmas. You know, my kids didn't really learn. They knew about Santa Claus. Like, my daughter learned about Santa Claus. I don't know. She might have been like about 5 years old when my daughter learned that her mom was lying to her. That was the biggest lie I ever did to my kids, was about the holidays. What for? To make all these businesses rich. You know, where now they can put all that stuff in their stores, you know, to get your money, your hard-worked money. You know, do you even have the money to go out and shop? You know, where else could that money go? Is there a better place than, you know, and a lot of times it's a lot of headaches and a lot of problems that happen during Christmas. You buy, you know, this has happened to me many times over and over again. You could put your heart out, go out, and I got into this a few years ago back, is I wasn't even celebrating Christmas, and a family member got me back into the Christmas spirit. I don't know how the heck that happened. So you know what I did? I took part of my money and somebody else's money. We put our money together. That's all we heard, that this person wanted this. We went out and got exactly what they wanted, and it wasn't good enough. Well, it wasn't the brand. It wasn't the kind. Oh, I don't want that. I want this kind. Really? You know, they never even used it. You know, and it's just that was just a waste of my money and that person's money. And we both, the two people, the other person and myself, we decided that's it. We're not doing Christmas anymore. You know, and that was the last time Starlight even did anything with Christmas. And that was a good reason right there, is hearing people complain, not being even grateful for what they received, you know, and how much money that gift costs, you know. So think twice before you go out shopping. Is if you got kids, if you love your kids, and I'm not saying you don't, please be honest with your kids, you know, and let them know. It's up to you if you want to still go out and buy them stuff, but to me, if I was going to do it all over again, and I can't control my son, you know, or my other family members, you know, my other grandson is old enough to know about that there's no Santa Claus. He knew that a long time ago, but my other one, I don't know exactly what my family does as far as Christmas goes. I don't know what they plan on doing. And this is what you got to watch out for, is sometimes you might say, hey, I'm going to tell my kids the truth. There's no Santa Claus. We're not doing it that way. And you could have relatives that come in and they want to put Santa Claus back into your child, you know, your child's life, you know, or even your grandchildren's life. You might even have grandpa and grandma that, you know, you want to do things a certain way, but now grandpa and grandma is going to, you know, buy stuff and, you know, maybe even get Santa Claus wrapping paper to put on the presents, you know, and give that to your child. So really be be mindful of how you're going to spend your Christmas. And if you want things done a certain way as far as holiday goes or birthdays go, or what you don't want your kids to have, or you got to communicate that with your family and your loved ones and say, you know what, I know you brought me up and we did Santa Claus, but we're not going to do that with my kids. You got to communicate. If you don't want certain things being bought and given to your kids, let your family know, hey, you know what, I don't mind you buying, different things, but I know it's your money, but I don't want my kids having cell phones. They're 4 years old. My 4-year-old doesn't need a cell phone. I'm hearing it. So you got to speak up. Let people know, and you got to be careful. If you start off in the beginning with, buying a few gifts, you don't have to overdo it. Because later on, just like this one girl, and I was so surprised when I heard the story, I was like, really? That girl had everything. They had the best of the best, of, food. They could go out to eat to restaurants. My kids really, McDonald's, Burger King, fast food places, that's all we ever went to. This girl, when she grew up, her parents worked their asses off, and, they went to expensive restaurants. When it came to clothing, she had the finest, clothing, the name brand stuff, and, so be thoughtful of how you're doing stuff, because if you, every year, we got to spend more every year on our, before you know it, it's going to be like $1,000, for, Christmas, when there's no such thing as a Santa Claus anyway. So you can do what you're going to do, but, if you're going to do it, figure out, really, do you want to keep on buying more gifts every year, and do they even take care of what you buy them? Do they even take care? Are they grateful? Do they, how is their attitudes? That's what you got to check. So you don't want to keep on giving the kids that are going to be spoiled rotten, and they call you names because, you didn't give them extra money this year for Christmas. So be careful of that. I love you so much. You're going to do what you want to do, and that I want you to do what you want to do. Don't listen to other people. You don't even have to listen to me. Do what you feel is right for your children. If you feel lying to your children is the right thing to do, then do it. But if you feel that lying to your children is the wrong thing to do, then don't do it. So I love you so much. This is Starlight. You could give this video a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Swing by and say hi to Starlight by leaving Starlight a comment down below. Beep, beep, beep. And you can also share my videos with your family, your friends. The other bug I've seen out here, I'm going to say all of them because I've had a lot of bugs out here, is ants and bees. So, and I don't know where my friend, I hear him out here, but I don't know where my little grasshopper friend went. He'll be back on my phone soon. Be like, yeah, I got to go on her phone. So I love you so much. Be honest with your kids, though. This is why we're in this big mess that we're in today, is because people lying to their kids and lying to people. So I love you so much. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.